In today's market review, we're going to look at the apartment condo market. We're talking about low-rise and high-rise apartment condominiums downtown and all around the city.
To help make our stats a little bit more relevant to you, I'm going to divide up the city into different quadrants. We're going to do the inner city, the northwest section, the southwest, and what we're talking is west of Sarcee, because we would consider anything east of Sarcee to be inner city. The deep south, which would be Fish Creek, Chaparral, Mahogany, all of these south areas. And lastly, we'll do the northeast. At the end of the video, we'll go over the whole market so you can compare how your numbers match up with the overall. Okay, 235 sales for the month of August actually, and that compares to July of 249. So sales a little bit down, not much. But when we look at the average sale price per square foot, we see that in median price it sold $418 a square foot was where most of the buyers, what they were paying per square foot, and they were buying properties mostly around, that was the heaviest group at $342. The average price per square foot was $429, and that always gets boosted up because of course things like this, a $2.9 million sale at a sale price of $1,400 a square foot. Now when we look at the previous month, the average sale price or the median price was down a little bit, but not much. I would say that's very similar. And the price per square foot was a little bit lower. And so we had less sales and people increased their prices a little bit, as you can see for August. People feeling the market moving up, but it's the tail end of things sometimes when you consider that there's less sales. So in August of last year, our average sale price or median price was actually $291. So that's a huge difference in how much people are mortgaging for properties, and the average price per square foot is $359. Now we look at what people are buying compared to last year. Those are about the same size properties as well, the average square footage of those properties. And last year in August we sold 228 properties, so pretty much online from what we did last year. Now we compare and we look at the inventory supply. We see that we have 712 active listings and 235 sold. So we got a an inventory supply that's a little bit fairly high inventory supply, over 3 months supply. So those of you who are trying to sell, don't get too greedy because there's lots for people to look at. Now when we look at where they're priced at, those 872 square foot units are priced at $438. And when we saw buyers, they were looking at properties that were priced at about $430. So that means that the average price that they're asking has gone up a little bit. Where the buyers were buying was about $418, and even as high as $429. So what this tells you is that if you're a seller, you got to think about that, And also we look at where the buyers bought properties. Most of them bought properties priced up to about $350 or $345, and the current listings are at $379. Now the average list prices are around $502, so it's definitely a lot different. So now we'll move on to the northwest section. So in the northwest, we had 54 sold apartment-style condos, and those apartment condos sold at about $310 a square foot, and the average actually was lower than the median. It was $306. That's a unique anomaly. Usually the average is higher. Our high sale for the month was actually $470, which means that is a unique situation. I don't often see that. Now we look at how that compared to July. 10 more sales in July than at that time, and we had very, very similar prices. That didn't change very much, and even where people were buying didn't change much. Average days on market was the same. Now we compare that to last year, 55 sales in August, so right on line with where last year was, and $279 a square foot last year compared to this year at $310 for the median, and $286. So prices not as up as the inner city was, but definitely they're up. Now we look at the inventory supply. 54 listings sold last month. We have 2 times more available. Those properties are sitting at a price higher than where the market's really looking. Similar square footages. Actually, what sold last month was a bit the larger of the group, where most of the properties are about $855 a square foot, and they're $325. The buyer's really looking for properties. They're priced from between $316 and $313. So it tells you a lot that actually the buyers are not looking at properties this high. That means people are asking a little bit more per square foot than where the buyers are really at. Now we're going to move to the southwest section. We're talking west of Sarcee, Aspen, these areas, Signal Hill, and so forth. Okay, so 29 sold listings for the month of August in that southwest area, and some pretty interesting news there. We got compared to last month exactly the same amount of sales, so that hadn't changed much, and the price per square foot actually was higher, and that has to do with the fact that what sold was lower, priced at the same kind of right around the same prices. So that's an interesting anomaly, but it's not very far off. But the price per square foot is it's a full $10 a square foot higher for August than it was in July. So that's quite an interesting concept there. Now when we look at how that compares to last year, 26 sold listings last year in the same month, all priced at around $294 a square foot on the median where most buyers buying, and $296. So tells you a little bit about what's happening there. Now we look at the inventory supply. We've got 51 active listings currently available in the Southwest. We sold 29 last month, so we've got almost 2 months supply, not quite. And when you look at what I like to look at is what's available and the asking prices for that, and you can see that the list prices where people were looking to buy were $333 a square foot on the average and $332 for the median, and they're very, very similar prices, and these are actually bigger units. So what that means to me is that that market could remain quite strong there because the sellers have some realistic expectations there. And now we'll move to the Deep South. Evergreen, Silverado, Cranston, Mackenzie-Town, all these south areas. Okay, so for the Deep South in August we had 85 sold listings, and they were priced at $308 was the median price, and the average was $312. We had a $450,000 sale, which was our high sale for the month for an apartment condo down there. Now we had 75 sold listings in the month of July, so sales actually up on that month, and those prices were a little bit less than they are this month. It seems to be that in some areas people are raising their prices in light of the fact that it's been a busy market. But then again, we sometimes see that the sales go down. So we look at and we compare this to last year. Definitely a better year down there than last year. 60 sold listings last year, priced at $288 a square foot on the median price, and the $293 on the average sale price, and a high sale price last year of $410. So that means that the market's definitely better than it was last year. Now when we look at what's happening as far as inventory supply, part of that strong market there could be a result of the fact that 110 active listings and 85 sold listings last month means that we don't even have a little bit more than a month's supply of homes down there, or apartment condos, and that's pretty good for that market. Now we look at the pricing here. The buyers, though, where they were looking for properties priced at around $259 to $265, and where we've got our list prices on these properties is higher. $269 to $287, which means that what's left in the market is priced higher, and not only that, it's about the same size too, which means and it's priced from $330 to $338. So in the light of this hot market, what is happening is the sellers are raising their prices, and so it's going to affect our square footage price for sure for the next month if the sales remain down there, and it may still be quite hot down there for apartment style condos. And next we'll look at the northeast section of the city. Okay, so for the northeast, the apartment style condos with 33 sales, and they were selling between $261 and $272 a square foot, and looks like their average sale price is $207 to $210, and then they were negotiating about $10,000 off the price on a lot of these. Now, when I look at what compared to last month, actually sales are up for August, 26 instead of 33, which means that's kind of a reverse situation for that particular market. 266 a square foot to 280 last month. The median where most buyers were buying was 266, which means that the prices dropped and sales went up. So that looks pretty good for the buyers, and I guess for the sellers. Now we look at August and compare that to last year, 21 sales in the same time period in August. So there's definitely another 12 sales there. And 253 was our price last year, and 238 was the average price. It was a high sale price of 256. Well, so that's kind of an interesting anomaly there. But when we look at what the inventory supply is up there, there's almost 2 months supply up there, and it could be that as a result of people dropping their prices that this has come a little bit closer. But when we look at where people are, the current asking prices are 263 for where most properties are priced, and the buyers were looking at properties last month priced at 273. So that's definitely a line where the properties should really sell. And on the average, we have 281 price per square foot, and our average is 265. So I think the market up there could remain pretty strong now because of the fact that these numbers are all in line. Now the list pricing, the properties are a little bit bigger and the list pricing is a little bit more, but not that much. So that looks like it's going to be a strong apartment market in the Northeast. Now we look at the overall market, and we look at the apartment or the condo market for Calgary. This is the whole graph here, and the dark lines represent the sales last month, and the lighter colored lines represent the inventory supply. We can see that below 150,000, there's 11 available now, and two sales last month. When we get into 150 to 200,000, 37 available, 60 available, and 37 sales. That's a pretty close race there, meaning that if you're a buyer in that group, you got to buy quick. In this particular range, from 200 to 250, lots of inventory available overall for the city. And so, so you have to think in terms of some of the markets, there is some inventory left over there. You have to look at your situation and realize, make your decisions whether you're a buyer or seller. This $300,000 group is also a further split away from the 250 group. And you can see that this is a tight race at 300 to 350. That's where a lot of the buyers are. There's not very much inventory available from 300 to 350. And then when you get above that, we start to see the inventory start to get a bit higher. So 30 more. This is a fairly tight race between 400 and 450. But then all throughout, we'll see that there's a lot more available than there is buyers. So there's a few groups where, with apartments overall in the city, that you could probably look at based on the rest of the full report and know where you really want to buy, where you can get the best deal if you can just buy anywhere. But it definitely looks like a good apartment condo market.
Realize that the market news I've just given you is based on the whole market. There's a whole other study we can do on the area that you're looking to buy or sell in. Your area may not move according to the whole market, and realize that average sale prices don't mean that a specific home would go up that percentage based on the whole market. Average sale prices sometimes mean that people are buying more expensive homes. Back when I started selling real estate, over 90% of the homes I sold were expired listings or homes that other agents couldn't sell. During that time, I learned from my clients the many frustrations that they had selling their homes.
Yeah, we had the home about, twice with some other agencies, and they couldn't sell the house. We don't know why. It's a beautiful house.
There was not any interest shown at all in our home by anybody that came and viewed it.
Too many of the other MLS realtors who'd come and show the house, they wouldn't have a clue.
We didn't get any feedback on our showing.
Last time our house was in the market about 3 months, and we've never got any offers.
It's for these reasons I have a very detailed approach on the way I sell my clients' homes. But here's what my clients had to say.
So we tried to put our townhouse up for sale October of last year, and it just wasn't selling, you could say. We had some show homes in the beginning of October, and a lot of people came, but no one really made a really decent offer, and we weren't getting any feedback. After the last 2 months, November and December, we had no showings, no one was coming, and we weren't really hearing from our real estate agent anymore. So come January, a friend of the family told us about Trent and how that he had helped them sell their house, and
Don't forget how we got that in the mail.
And how we got in the mail a pamphlet that said, guaranteed we can sell your home. In which case, we both decided we'd call Trent.
And give Trent a call. And Trent came in the very first day that he came to see us, and he said, well, let's look at the market. Let's see where we're sitting at in the market, and let's make a plan of how we're going to put this up so that it's more appealing than everything else in the market, in that kind of zone that people are looking for houses, in that price range, in that category, being a townhouse. And basically what ended up happening was, as soon as the house went up, exactly what we had predicted with Trent was going to happen, happened. And in a very, very short period of time,
I think it was like one day.
I think it was one day.
Yeah.
We had an offer the first day and took it. Trent gave us extremely knowledgeable advice on how to deal with the initial lower offer, and it resulted in us maintaining a lot more of our value in our house.
One of the things that I noticed was really nice about how our house sold was that there was a video that was taken for YouTube, and when we went to go see it, we fell in love with our home again, not to lie. It just, it put our home in a light where you wanted to live in it. It talked about, you know, the great things that we loved about our home when we first walked in. Just 2 blocks down, there's another house for sale that didn't have that quality of videoing, and it didn't show the aspects of the home which we fell in love with, which we found that other people did. And watching the video, you realize that we boosted so much more of our traffic coming into the house. People who were looking at it, they already were interested before they even showed up. And right away, just from the first day, we had, you know, 3 or 4 people walk through that all wanted to make offers. And assuming if we wanted to stay on the market longer, we could have easily sold the house
5, 6
times over.
Well, I think what the commercial does versus just having an MLS listing with pictures and then someone has to call and then come and see it is it takes the same thing that companies do, but he does it for you on an individual basis. Companies, when they want to sell something, you see it on the commercial while you're watching the NHL playoffs or something, and you go, this is awesome, I want it. And that's exactly what his commercial does. You see it and boom, you want it.
We had our home listed for 4 months in the fall, and it just didn't sell. We had a little interest at first, but then it just died down. After the new year, we got some information in the mail from Trent, and he was able to show us the advantages of video marketing, and he showed off our home to its best advantage. You know, it's not a show home, it's not a new home, but it's a comfortable home. And he was able to show that and get that information out to lots of people. And we had so many showings. We had, you know, 1 or 2 showings a day. Some days we had so many showings we weren't even able to come home for meals. There was that much interest in our home. Another thing Trent was able to show us was that the market was actually good in November when we had our home listed before, and that was when there was no interest shown in ours. And there were homes selling in this neighborhood for actually less than what we got for ours just this past week. We sold it in about 4 weeks with Trent, and we're really excited to be, we got a price that we're happy with, and moving on.
This is just 2 examples, but in 13 years of marketing homes, I've got hundreds of examples of turnaround situations. High and low-end homes, fixer-uppers, show homes. I've marketed a home just like yours. So call me today for a low-pressure interview to discuss the sale of your home.